You smell like you, Gwen said. She snuggled closer. That's good, I said. I guess. I felt her face smile into my bare chest. She whispered, "It is." The scent of our love still hung in the air. Gwen's breathing slowed into sleep. When I woke up at the break of day, she was already gone. Home to shower, then to the airport to pick up her husband, who was coming back from a business trip. I showered myself, made coffee and toast, sat down on the kitchen counter. The cup I drank from had been my ex-wife's. She hadn't taken it with her when she left. In fact, she hadn't taken much of anything, except for what she could fit in her small suitcase. She did leave a note under the wedding ring on the bureau. It said simply that she'd fallen in love with someone else, and they were moving to another state. Even after 2 years, I still took out that note and read it from time to time. But all that had happened long before Gwen. I wondered if the time would come when Gwen would give a similar explanation to her husband. We talked about it. Before I left for work, I sent Gwen a text that said, "You smell like you, like love." She replied with 2 heart emojis. Given the arrival time of her husband's flight, his text saying that he'd landed would probably be the next she'd received. And she'd pick him up outside baggage claim, they'd walk to the car, they'd embrace across that console separating the front 2 seats, and their lives would return to normal together, the same way mine had with my wife, or whatever period of time there had been when she had the lover I knew nothing about. The elementary school where I taught was in the middle of character education week. We were supposed to start the morning with a discussion about doing the right thing instead of fulfilling challenges or temptations. I didn't do that. Instead, I let my students draw pictures of whatever they wanted. Another message arrived from Gwen. She said she'd come over again on Friday after school, but only for an hour or so. I responded with a smiley emoji. And that Friday morning, I saw Gwen's husband. I'd only seen a photograph of him on her phone's screensaver, but I recognized him right away. He was in front of me in line at the cafe when I sometimes stopped for coffee on the way to school. He was in running gear, still wet with sweat. He was taller than me, more muscled, better looking. He wore a fanny pack backwards around his waist, and he was taking a $20 bill out of it. When he got to the front of the line, he gave the barista his order, a black coffee and a latte. I knew the latte was from Gwen. That's what she always asked me to get for her. His mannerisms were unhurried. His exchange with the barista friendly. She fitted his drinks into a cardboard tray, left a generous tip, and stuffed the rest of his change into the unzipped fanny pack. But as he lifted the tray, a $5 bill fluttered from the pack to the floor at my feet. I looked down on it, then glanced around me. The barista turned away, no one else was in line, and customers didn't seem to notice. I watched Gwen's husband push through the doors and start up the sidewalk outside. I bent down and then picked up the $5 bill and moved forward toward the counter. The barista turned around and looked at me and said, "What can I get for you?" We stared at each other a long moment. Finally, I said, "Actually, nothing." I hurried through the front doors and looked up the sidewalk. Gwen's husband was standing at the corner next to Gwen's car. He'd set the tray on the hood and was taking a set of keys out of his pack. I trotted up next to him while he fumbled with the keys. "Excuse me," I said. Showed him the $5 bill. "I was in line behind you at the counter at the cafe, and you dropped this." He looked at the bill and then looked at me. Our eyes held. His were gentle, kind. He smiled and then took the bill from me and said, "Thanks. Thank you very much." From the corner of my eye, I could see in the back seat of the car the light blue camisole that Gwen had worn the last time she was over. I hadn't known who my ex-wife's lover was until 6 months after she left. An acquaintance told me it was someone we'd met at a party years before. Now I was standing across from my own lover's husband, and I could tell from the good-natured way he looked at me that he had absolutely no idea who I was. "No problem," I said. Started back towards the cafe. I started slowly waiting until I heard the sound of Gwen's car pull away, and as it did, my phone pinged in my pocket. I took it out and saw that Gwen had sent me a text. My finger hovered over the phone, and then dropped to my side. I found an empty bus bench and sat down. I felt numb, untethered. I was running late for work, but I just continued to sit there. A boy wobbled by on a bicycle, riding with no hands. I watched him disappear down the street. If he made it to his destination without falling, I'd never know.